Hi everybody, welcome to GTCoding. In this tutorial series, we are designing this website over here using Next.js. Now in the previous video, we designed this sign-in page. Now in this video, we will design this post component over here. So let's get started. Right, this is our progress. So let's go to the home page, and this is how the home page looks right now. So let's go ahead and create a component for the posts. So let's go over here to components, and let's create a new component called post.tsx. And here let's type export default function post, and let's return a div for now. Let's type div post. Right now let's go to the page.tsx file, which is the home page, and here we just need to display these posts. So I'll just type post over here, and let's import it from components post. And now if you go back to the home page, here we can see post is being displayed. Now we need to display the post based on the data that we have. So here we have this data.js file, and in that we have this posts data, and in that we have these dummy data. So we're going to use this for designing our component for now. So we are exporting this const called post data. So let's go to the page.tsx file, and let's import it over here. So just type import posts data from @data. Now here we need to display the post only if we have any post inside this post data. So let's add it inside curly braces, and here let's type posts data. And if we have the post data, then we will display the post. So let's type ampersand. And we also need to see whether we have at least one post. So let's type posts data dot length, and if it is greater than 0, then we will display the post, or else we'll just display a div, and we'll just type no posts to display. Right now here we need to map through all the post data. So let's type posts data dot map, and for each of the post I'll just call it post, and here let's return this post component. So let's cut it from here, and let's paste it over here. And now if you go back to our home page, here we can see that post is displayed a number of times. So if you go to the data.js file, here we can see that we have a number of posts. So that's why we have these post components displayed over here. Right now we need to send the necessary data to the post component. So here we have the post component, and we need to get data like the post thumbnail, the author, the date, the category, the title, the content, and the links. So let's pass all of this data as props. So let's go back over here to page.tsx file, and here in the post, first of all let's set the key, because for map we need to have a unique key. And if you go back to our data.js file, here we can see that we have IDs for all of these posts. So let's use this ID as the key. So let's type post.id. Right now let's pass the ID as a prop. So let's type id equals post.id. Right now let's pass the author name. So let's type author, and we need to set it equal to post.author. And we'll also need to pass the author email, so that we need to check whether the post is editable. So for that I'll just type author email, and we don't have the author email inside this data.js file. So here I'll just type some dummy data. I'll just type test@email.com. Right now let's pass the date, and let's set the date to post.date published. And then let's pass the thumbnail. So let's type thumbnail equals post.thumbnail. And then we need to pass the category. So let's type category equals post.category. And then we need to pass the title, the content, and the links. So let's type title equals post.title, and let's type description equals post.content. You can just change this to content if you want. And then let's pass the links. So let's type links equals, and let's type p.links, and links can also be empty. So let's type or empty array. Right, these are all the details that we are passing to the post component. So let's go to the post component, and here let's receive those props. So here in the post, let's destructure the props. So here we are getting all this data. We have ID, author, author email, date, thumbnail, category, title, content, and links. So let's add all of that over here. ID, author, date, thumbnail, author, email, title, content, links, category, and I think that's it. So let's go ahead and create an interface for this type. So here let's tap interface, and let's tap post props, and here let's tap ID, and the ID is going to be a string, and let's tap author, and the author is going to be a string as well. And then we have date, it is going to be a string. Then we have thumbnail, and the thumbnail is optional, so let's add a question mark, and it is going to be a string. And then we have author email, and it is going to be optional as well, and let's type string. And then we have title, and it is going to be a string. And then we have content, and it is going to be a string. And then we have the links, and it is optional, so let's add a question mark, and here let's type string, and it is going to be an array of strings. And then lastly we have category, and it is also optional, and it is going to be a string. Right, now let's go ahead and set the type of this to post props. And now here we have some error in page.tsx file, and that's because the ID that we have over here is a number in data.js, but we are getting it over here as a string because later we're going to use the database IDs, so they are going to be string. So let's go ahead and change all these IDs to strings. Right, so I have changed all the IDs to strings, and now we don't have any problems. So let's go back to the post component, and let's use all this data. So let's go ahead and create a div, and we will use it for this author and the date. So let's go ahead and type posted by, and here we'll create a span. The author name should be in bold. So here in the span, let's type class name, and let's set the font to bold. And here we will just add the author name. So let's type curly braces, and we are getting the author as author. So let's type author. And now if we go back to our home page, here we can see that all the authors are displayed over here. Right, now let's go ahead and also display the date. So let's go outside the span, and let's type on, and here let's add the date. So let's type date, and now we can see that the author and the date are displayed over here. Now if you go back to the original website, we have the date in a different format. Now we will do that later. For now, I'll just keep this format right here. Right, now let's go ahead and display the thumbnail. So let's go outside this div, and let's create another div, and here we need to check whether we have the thumbnail. So let's type curly braces, and here let's type thumbnail question mark, and if we have the thumbnail, then we'll just display the image. So I'll just type image, and let's import it from next image, and in this image we will set the source to the thumbnail, and let's set the alt to the title of the post. So let's type title. We are getting all this data from these props, and we'll set the width and height to fill the container. So let's type fill. Right, now let's add an else, and if you don't have the thumbnail, then we'll just display a thumbnail placeholder. So I have this image called thumbnail placeholder .png. So I'm going to use this image if you don't have the thumbnail. So here we need to create another image tag. So I'll just copy this, and let's paste it over here. And here, instead of the source set to thumbnail, I'll just set it to thumbnail placeholder .png. Now let's go back to our website, and here we can see we have this error because if you go back to the data.js file, here for the thumbnails I'm using these images from pexels.com. When we want to use images from external sites, we need to add this to our next config. So let's go over here to next config, and here inside the next config object, here we need to type images, and in that we need to have domains, and the domains is going to be an array. So here we need to add the URL. So let's copy this from here, and let's paste it over here. Now once you make changes to the next config, you have to restart your server. So let's open the terminal, and let's type npm run dev, And let's go back to our website and let's reload this page. Now we can see we don't have the error, but the thumbnail is spanning the whole screen. So let's go back and let's go to the post.tsx file and let's add some styles over here. So here for the div, let's type class name and let's set the width to full and the height to 72. And we also need to set the position to relative. And now we can see we have the correct size for the thumbnails. So when we don't have the thumbnail, we have the thumbnail placeholder displayed over here. Right now let's go back and let's continue writing the code for the post.tsx file. Now here for these images, let's also add some classes. So let's type class name and let's set it to object cover so that it has the correct proportions. And let's set rounded MD for rounded corners. And let's type object center so that the image is positioned to the center. And let's go ahead and copy this class name and let's add it over here. Right now let's go outside this div and now we need to display the category. So here we can see we have the category displayed. So let's go ahead and add it inside curly braces because categories are optional. So let's type category, and if you have the category then we'll display the category. So let's type ampersand ampersand, and here we'll just add link and we'll just import it from next link. And in here we need to add the category. So let's type category, and for the href we need to type backticks categories / and the category name. So let's type category, because if you scroll up here we can see that we are getting it as category. Right now let's go ahead and display the title. So let's create an h2 for that, and here I'll just type title, and now we can see that the title is being displayed. And then we need to display the content. So for the content, let's create a paragraph, and here let's add the content. So let's type content, and then we need to display the links. So let's go back over here and let's type curly braces and let's type links. And if we have the links, then we need to display it because links are also optional. So let's type ampersand ampersand, and here let's create a div. Now in this div we will loop through all the links. So let's type curly braces links.map, and for each of the link I'll just call it link, and we'll also get the index so that we can use it for the key. Now here let's return a div, and inside this div we need to have the link. So let's type link, and in here let's add the link. So I'll just type link, and here let's add the href, and for the href also we'll just type link. Now we also need to add an icon before the link. So we have this icon, so let's go ahead and get the icon from heroicons.com, and let's search for link, and I'll just copy this JSX from here. So let's click on copy JSX and let's paste it over here. And now if we go back to our web page, here we can see that we have the link displayed, and we also have the icon. Here we have two links. Right now let's go ahead and style all of this. So let's go back and let's go to the main container division, and here let's add some classes. So let's type class name, and let's set the margin top and bottom to 4, and let's also add a border bottom, and let's set the border bottom to 300. So now we can see we have this border bottom, and let's also add padding top and bottom of 8. Right now let's style this division right here where we have the author name and the date. So here for this div, let's go ahead and type class name, and let's type margin bottom of 4, and now we can see it looks alright. Now we have already styled this thumbnail, so let's style this category. So here we have the category, and for the category we have this link. So let's add some classes to the link. So I'll just type class name, and let's type bg slate 800 for the background color, and let's set the width to fit content and text color to white, and let's set the padding left and right to 4 and padding top and bottom to 0.5, and let's set the text size to small. and font bold. Let's type rounded MD for rounded corners and margin top of 4. And right now the margin is not being added, so we need to set the display to block. So this is our category. Now let's style this title. So for the title we have an h2, and let's go ahead and go to the global.css file, and let's add some common styles to all the h2s. So let's tap h2 and apply. Now here let's tap text to Excel, font bold and margin top and bottom of 4, and here we have the title. And let's also style the content of all the posts. So let's add the styles over here in the global.css file. So here if you go to post.tsx file, here we have a paragraph tag. So let's also add a class name and let's set it to content. And now let's go over here and let's type p.content and let's tap at apply. And here we'll just set leading to loose so that we have a line height of 2. And this is our content. Right now let's style this link. So let's go back to our code and let's go to post.tsx file, and here for this div let's add some classes. So let's type class name and let's set the margin top and bottom to 4, and let's set it to display of flex and flex direction to column, and let's add a gap of 3. And now let's go ahead and style this div right here. Now for this div, first of all let's add a key because we are using map, and for the key I'll just set it to I, which is the index, and let's add some classes. So let's type class name and let's set it to display of flex, gap of 2 and items center. So this is how the link looks. Right now let's also add some styles to this link. So here I'll just add a class name and let's set it to link, and we will add the styles to the global.css file. So let's go over here and let's type .link, and here let's tap at apply text, and let's set the color to 7563DF, and here we can see we have the color, and let's set the font to bold. Now let's go ahead and add a long link. So let's go over here to data.js file, and let's add a long link over here. And now let's go back, and here we have this long link. Now if we go ahead and decrease the width of the browser window, we can see that the link goes outside the screen. So we need to fix this. So let's go back and let's go to the global.css file, and here let's tap max width to full, and we need to type overflow hidden, and now we can see that everything outside this link is hidden. So all the text outside this link is hidden. Now we also need to add a style called text ellipsis, and now we can see we have these ... So now when we have a long link, we can see that we have this kind of styling. Alright, let's go back and let's scroll down, and for multiple links also we have the correct styling. So everything is looking alright for the post component. Now when the user has signed in, they also should have the option of editing or deleting the post. So let's go ahead and add those buttons over here. So let's go to the post.tsx file. Now we need to display the edit and the delete buttons only if the user has logged in and if it is their post. So here we will create a const, and I'll just name it is editable, and for now I'll just set it to true. Now we will set it to true or false depending on whether the user is signed in, but for now let's set it to true. And here outside this links, let's go ahead and create a conditional, and here let's type is editable. So if it is editable, then we need to display the edit and the delete buttons. So here let's create a div, and in that we will have a link for the edit button. So let's create a link, and here I'll just type edit, and for the href we will set it to backticks / edit post / and we will pass the ID. So we are getting the ID over here as a prop, so we have the ID over here. So let's add the ID right here. So I'll just type $ curly braces ID. So when we click on the edit button, it will go to edit post /the ID, and then we can get the ID in the edit post page and start editing the post. Right now we need to have the delete button, and for that we'll create a separate component because we need to perform some actions in the delete button. So let's go over here to components and let's create a new component, and let's call it delete button.tsx. And here let's type export default function delete button, and here let's return button, and let's add a text of delete. Now here we need to add all the functionality of the delete button, but we will do that later. Right now let's go to the post, and here let's type delete button, and let's import it from delete button. And now if we go back to our website, here we can see that we have the edit and delete buttons, but if we set the editable to false, and now if we go back, here we don't have the edit and delete buttons. Right now let's style it, so let's set this back to true, and let's add some styles over here. First of all, let's add some styles to the delete button, and here for the button let's type class name, and let's set the text color to red 600, and let's go back to post, and here for the container division let's add some classes. So let's type class name, let's set the display to flex, and let's set a gap of 3, and let's set the font to bold, and padding top and bottom of 2, padding left and right of 4, and let's set it to rounded MD, and let's set the background color to BG slate 200, and let's set the width to fit content. So that's basically it with the edit and the delete buttons. Now while we are here, let's also quickly design the dashboard page. So let me just go ahead and show you the dashboard. I'll just sign in. Right now here I have signed in, and this is the dashboard page. Now the dashboard page is almost similar to the home page. In the dashboard page we don't have these category list, and we have this heading my posts, and everything else is the same. So let's go ahead and let's create the dashboard page. So here let's go to the app folder, and let's create a new folder called dashboard, and in that we'll create a new file called page.tsx, and here let's type export default function, and let's call it dashboard, and here let's return a div. And first of all we need to have an h1, and we need to type my posts. So let's go back to our website and let's go to dashboard, and here we can see we have my posts displayed. Now we need to display the post component. So let's go back to the home page, and I'll just copy this code from here, and this is the code for displaying the post. So let's go back to the dashboard, and let's paste it over here. Now we need to get the post data. So for now I'll just get the data from data.js. So let's type import posts data from @data, and let's also import this post component. So let's type import post from components post, and now if you go back over here we can see that my posts are displayed over here. Now if you don't have any posts, we need to display no posts created. So let's go back over here, and here let's type no posts created yet, and let's also add a link to add a new post. So let's create a link, and let's import it from next link, and here let's type create new, and let's add an href, and here I'll just add the link of the create post page. So I'll just type create post. We haven't created this page yet, and we need to add all of this inside a single div. So let's cut this ending tag from here and let's paste it over here. Right now let's add some styles. So let's type class name, and let's set the padding top and bottom to 6. Right now if we go back and if you go to the data.js file, and if I just remove all these posts, and now if we go back, now we can see it says no posts created, create new, and let's also add a space over here, and here let's add a space, And for this link, let's add an underline. So let's type class name and let's type underline. And now if you go to the home page, here we can see that we have no post to display. Now here also we need to add some padding. So let's go back to the home page, and here let's add a class name, and let's add padding top and bottom of 6. And now we can see it has the correct padding. So let's go back and uncomment these posts, and now we have all the posts displayed. And with that, we have completed designing our post component. Alright, so that's it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.